So hello everyone, welcome back to the part 2 of sexual reproduction in flowering plants. So moving ahead, agents of pollination. Plants use two abiotic wind and water and one biotic animals agents to achieve pollination. Majority of plants use biotic agents for pollination. Only a small proportion of plants use abiotic agents, and abiotic agents will be water and wind. Pollen grains coming in contact with the stigma is a chance factor in both wind and water pollination. To compensate for these uncertainties and associated loss of pollen grains, the flowers produce enormous amount of pollen when compared to the number of ovules available for pollination. So, pollination by wind is more common among abiotic pollinations. Wind pollination also requires that pollen grains are light and not sticky so that they can be transported in the wind currents. They often possess well-exposed stamens so that the pollens are easily dispersed into the wind currents and large, often feathery stigma to easily grab the airborne pollen grains. Wind-pollinated flowers are often have a single ovule in each ovary and numerous flowers packed into an inflorescence. A familiar example is the corn cob. The ears you see are nothing but the stigma and the style which wave in the wind to grab the pollen grains. Wind pollination is quite common in grasses. So, wind pollinated plants showing compact inflorescence and well exposed stamens. So it is showing the well-exposed stamens for the easy transportation of the pollen grains in the wind currents. And they have large, often feathery stigma for easily grab of the pollen grains. And they have single ovule in each ovary and numerous flowers packed into an inflorescence. Familiar example is corn cob. The ears you see are nothing but the stigma and the style which wave in the wind to grab the pollen grains. Pollination by water is quite rare in flowering plants and is limited to about 30 genera, mostly monocotyledons. As against this, you would recall that water is a regular mode of transport for the male gametes among the lower plant groups such as algae, bryophytes and pteridophytes. It is believed, particularly for some bryophytes and pteridophytes, that their distribution is limited because the need of water for transport of the male gametes and fertilization. So, some examples of water pollinated plants are Vallisneria and Hydrilla, which grow in fresh water, and several marine sea grasses such as Drosera. Sea grasses marine में जो grow होते हैं that are Drosera, and Vallisneria and Hydrilla are the freshwater plants which are pollinated by the water. Not all aquatic plants use water for pollination. Remember this line. सारे aquatic plants water को use नहीं करते हैं for pollination. It is limited to only 30 genera of the monocotyledons. Only 30 genera of the monocotyledons. In majority of aquatic plants such as water hyacinth and water lily, the flowers emerge above the level of the water and are pollinated by the insects or the wind as in most of the land plants. In Vallisneria, the female flower reaches the surface of the water by the long stalk and the male flowers or the pollen grains are released onto the surface of the water. Vallisneria जो कि फ्रेश वाटर एक्वेटिक प्लांट है, इसमें क्या होता है, फीमेल फ्लावर्स जो होता है सरफेस को रीच करते हैं बाय द लॉन्ग स्टॉक एंड मेल फ्लावर्स जो होते हैं पॉलिन ग्रेन्स को रिलीज करते हैं ऑन टू द सरफेस ऑफ वाटर. तो यहाँ पे जो पॉलिनेशन हो रहा है सरफेस पे हो रहा है, वाटर के अंदर नहीं हो रहा है. They are carried passively by the water current and some of them eventually reach the female flowers and the stigma. In another group of water pollinated plants such as sea grasses जो marine है and female flowers remain submerged in the water. इसमें surface पे नहीं आ रहा है female flowers, they remain submerged in the water and the pollen grains are released inside the water. Pollen grains in many such species are long ribbon-like and they are carried passively inside the water. Some of them reach the stigma and achieve pollination. In most of the water pollinated species, pollen grains are protected from wetting by a mucilaginous covering. Both wind and water pollinated flowers are not very colorful and do not produce nectar. The reason for this is they do not need to attract the biotic agents of insects for the pollination. Majority of flowering plants use a range of animals as pollinating agents: bees, butterflies, flies, beetles, wasps, ants, moths, Birds, sunbirds and the hummingbirds and bats are the common pollinating agents. Apart from this, among the animals, insects, particularly bees, are the dominant biotic pollinating agents. Even larger animals such as some primates, lemurs, arboreal rodents, tree-dwelling, and even reptiles, gecko lizard or garden lizard, have also been reported as a pollinator in some species. सो टॉकिंग अबाउट पॉलिनेटर पर होता है वेल्डिस एरिया में क्या होता है, जो फीमेल फ्लावर होता है उसका लॉन्ग स्टिग्मा होता है, उसकी वजह से वो सरफेस ऑफ द वाटर पे चला जाता है। सो दे रीच द सरफेस ऑफ द वाटर। और जो पॉलिंग ग्रेन्स होते हैं, जो मेल फ्लावर्स हैं, दे रिलीज द पॉलिंग ग्रेन्स ऑन टू द सरफेस ऑफ द वाटर ओनली एंड दे रीच थ्रू द वाटर करेंट्स। इंसेक्ट पॉलिनेशन का एग्जाम्पल दिया गया सेकेंड वाला, इसमें एक बी दिख रही है हमको और एक प्लांट दिख रहा है। Let's see. Often flowers of animal pollinated plants are specifically adapted for a particular species of animals. This is basically the mutual relationship example. और इसमें क्या होता है, जो एनिमल पॉलिनेटेड प्लांट्स हैं वो स्पेसिफिकली अडेप्ट हो जाते हैं पर्टिकुलर स्पीशीज़ ऑफ एनिमल्स के लिए। मेजॉरिटी ऑफ इंसेक्ट पॉलिनेटेड फ्लावर्स आर लार्ज, कलरफुल, फ्रेगनेंट and rich in nectar. When the flowers are small, a number of flowers are clustered into an inflorescence to make them conspicuous. Animals are attracted to flowers by color and the fragrance. The flowers pollinated by flies and beetles secrete fall odor to attract these animals. To sustain the animal visits, the flower have to provide rewards to the animals. Nectar and the pollen grains are the usual floral rewards. For harvesting the reward from the flower, and the animal visitors come in contact with the anthers and the stigma. The body of the animal gets a coating of the pollen grains, which are generally sticky in animal pollinated flowers. When the animal carrying the pollen on its body comes in contact with the stigma of another flower, it brings about the pollination. In some species, floral rewards are in providing safe places to lay eggs. An example is that of the tallest flower of Amalthus. The flower itself is about 6 feet in height. A similar relationship exists between a species of moth and the plant yucca, where the both species moth and the yucca plant cannot complete their life cycle without each other. The moth deposits its eggs in the locule of the ovary and the flower in turn gets pollinated by the moth. The larva of the moth comes out of the eggs as the seeds start developing. Why don't you observe some flowers of the flowering plants or any other available to you? Cucumber, mango, pickle, coriander, papaya, onion, lobia, cotton, tobacco, rose, lemon, eucalyptus, banana. Try to find out which animals visit them and whether they could be the pollinators. You will have patiently observe flowers for a few days and at different times of the day. You could also try to see whether there is any correlation in the characteristics of a flower to the animal that visits it. Carefully observe if any of the visitors come in contact with the anthers and the stigma as only such visitor can bring about the pollination. Many insects may consume pollen or nectar without bringing about the pollination. Such floral visitors are referred to as pollen or nectar robbers. You may not be able to identify the pollinators, but you will be surely enjoy your efforts. आउटब्रीडिंग डिवाइसेस के बारे में बात करते हैं। These are the devices used to overcome the inbreeding depression. जो inbreeding depression आ रहा था वो continuous autogamy और geitonogamy की वजह से आ रहा था, because सेम कैरेक्टर पास ऑन हो रहा है पेरेंट्स से ऑफस्प्रिंग में. देयर इज़ नो वेरिएशन गोइंग टू हैपन. The majority of flowering plants produce hermaphrodite flowers, and pollen grains are likely to come in contact with the stigma of the same flower. Hermaphrodite मतलब बाइसेक्सुअल फ्लावर्स प्रोड्यूस करेंगे जिसमें मेल भी होगा और फीमेल भी होगा. मतलब दे आर containing the pistil and the stem in both. And pollen grains are likely to come in contact with the stigma of the same flower. सेम फ्लावर के स्टिग्मा से pollen grain likely है कि वो contact में आ जाएगा. Continued self-pollination result in inbreeding depression. Flowering plants have developed many devices to discourage self-pollination and to encourage cross-pollination. In some species, pollen release and stigma receptivity are not synchronized. कुछ स्पीशीज़ ने क्या किया, उनमें पॉलन रिलीज़ और स्टिग्मा रिसेप्टिविटी जो है वो सिंक्रोनाइज नहीं है. मतलब कभी पॉलन मैच्योर होकर पहले रिलीज़ हो जा रहा है, कभी स्टिग्मा रिसेप्टेबल नहीं है. तो कभी स्टिग्मा रिसेप्टिविटी है लेकिन पॉलन रिलीज नहीं हुआ, सो इट प्रमोट्स cross pollination. Either the pollen is released before the stigma becomes receptive, or the stigma becomes receptive much before the release of the pollen. In some other species, the anther and the stigma are placed at different positions. इसको हम डाइक्लाइनी बोलते हैं. इसमें क्या होता है कि in some other species, the anther and the stigma are placed at different positions so that the pollen cannot come in contact with the stigma of the same flower. Positions अलग अलग हो जाती है, इसकी वजह से वो pollination नहीं हो पाता है. Both these devices prevent orthogamy. The third device to prevent inbreeding is self-incompatibility. A plant खुद से ही pollen को ग्रो नहीं होने दे रहा, pollen tube का formation नहीं करने दे रहा. This is a genetic mechanism and prevents self-pollen from the same flower or the other flowers of the same plant from fertilizing the ovules by inhibiting pollen germination or pollen tube growth in the pistil. Another device to prevent the self-pollination is the production of unisexual flowers. कुछ plants जो है unisexual flowers produce करने लगे. Either they will be staminate or they will be the pistillate flowers. If both male and female flowers are present on the same plant, such as castor and maize, it is an example of monoecious. Mono means one and eicious with the body. तो एक ही body में दोनों present होंगे. If both male and female flowers are present on the same plant, such as castor and maize, monoecious, it prevents orthogamy. ये orthogamy तो prevent कर देगा, but not the geitonogamy. Because same plant में दोनों flowers present है, male और female flowers, but same flower में दोनों गार्निशियम एंड एंड्रोशियम प्रेजेंट नहीं है, तो ऑर्थोगamy प्रिवेंट हो जाएगी लेकिन गीटोगामी प्रेजेंट नहीं होगी. इन द एग्जाम्पल ऑफ castor and maize. In several species such as papaya, male and female flowers are present on different plants. That is, each plant is either male or female. इसको dioecious बोलते हैं. Dioecious condition है ये. This condition prevents both orthogamy and geitonogamy. Both orthogamy और geitonogamy किस condition में prevent होंगे? Dioecious में prevent होंगे, जिसमें मेल और फीमेल फ्लावर्स जो है डिफरेंट प्लांट्स पे प्रेजेंट होंगे. इसका एग्जाम्पल हो जाएगा पपाया. और मोनोइशियस प्लांट्स के एग्जाम्पल क्या है? कैस्टर और मेज. इसमें क्या होता है? ऑर्थोगamy प्रिवेंट हो जाती है लेकिन गीटोगामी प्रिवेंट नहीं हो पाती है. Now talking about pollen-pistil interaction. Pollination does not guarantee the transfer of the right type of pollen, compatible pollen of the same species as the stigma. Often pollen of the wrong type either from the other species or from the same plant, if it is self-incompatible, also land on the stigma. The pistil has the ability to recognize a pollen whether it is of the right type compatible or the wrong type incompatible. If it is of the right type, the pistil accepts a pollen and promotes post-pollination events that leads to fertilization. If the pollen is of the wrong type, the pistil rejects the pollen by preventing the pollen germination on the stigma or the pollen tube growth in the stem. The ability of the pistil to recognize a pollen followed by the acceptance or rejection is the result of the continuous dialogue between the pollen grain and the pistil. This dialogue is mediated by the chemical components of the pollen interacting with those of the pistil. It is only in the recent years that botanists have been able to identify some of the pollen and the pistil components and the interactions leading to the recognition followed by acceptance or rejection. So let's see pollen grains germinating on the stigma. The A diagram shows the pollen grains germinating on the stigma. ये pollen grains है, these are germinating on the stigma. There is a dialogue between the pollen and the pistil, which is mediated by the chemical control. So there is a dialogue mediated by the chemical components of the pollen interacting with those of the pistil. Second figure show कर रहा है pollen tubes growing through the style. ये pollen tubes हैं जो style से grow हो रहे हैं. Third C part is longitudinal section of pistil showing the path of the pollen tube growth. This is the longitudinal section of the pistil showing the growth of the pollen tube. तो यहाँ पे pollen pistil interaction हुआ, उसके बाद उनका जो केमिकल मीडिएशन हुआ, उसकी वजह से जो कुछ राइट टाइप के pollen जो स्टिग्मा ने रिसीव किए हैं उनको उन्होंने ग्रो करने को अलाउ किया है. pollen ट्यूब जो है फॉर्म हुआ एंड इट गोज़ टू द माइक्रोपाइलर एंड और सिनर्जिट से जाके ये फिलिफॉर्म ऑपरेटर्स में जाके फिलिफॉर्म एपरेटस जो है फर्दर गाइड करता है पॉलन ट्यूब को टू ओपन इनटू द सिनर्जिड्स. So D part showing the enlarged view of an egg apparatus showing entry of the pollen tube into the synergid. यहाँ पे pollen tube आ रहा है. इसमें this sequence is very important कि सबसे आगे मेल gametes होते हैं, then vegetative nucleus पीछे आता है उनके. So here the filiform apparatus is guiding it into the synergids and the central cell. The E part is discharge of the male gametes into the synergid and the movement of the sperms, one into the egg and the other into the central cell. यहाँ पे E part हमें क्या शो कर रहा है? यहाँ पे हमें E part शो कर रहा है फिलिफॉर्म एपरेटस ने गाइड कर दिया सिनर्जिड्स में. तो यहाँ पे एक जो हमारा पॉलन है, मेल गैमेट है, वो यहाँ पे हमने उसको स्पर्म बोला है. मेल गैमेट है, उसको हमने एक को तो एग एपरेटस के साथ फ्यूज़ करने को भेज दिया और एक को हम पोलर न्यूक्लियाई के पास ले गए. So, as mentioned earlier, following compatible pollination, the pollen grain germinates on the stigma to produce a pollen tube through one of the germ pores. The contents of the pollen grain move into the pollen tube. Pollen tube grows through the tissues of the stigma in this child and reaches the ovary. You will recall that in some plants, pollen grains are shed at the two cell stage, a vegetative cell and the generative cell. In such plants, the generative cell divides and form the two male gametes during the growth of the pollen tube in the stigma. और ये जो दो मेल gametes है वो आगे चलेंगे और उसके पीछे आएगा vegetative nucleus. In plants which set pollen in the three-celled condition, pollen tubes carry two male gametes from the beginning. Pollen tube, after reaching the ovary, enters the ovule through the micropyle and enters the one of the synergids through the filiform apparatus. Many recent studies have shown that filiform apparatus present at the micropyle part of the synergid guides the entry of the pollen tube. All these events from the pollen deposition on the stigma until the pollen tubes enter the ovule are together referred to as a pollen pistil interaction. As pointed out earlier, pollen pistil interaction is a dynamic process involving pollen recognition followed by promotion or inhibition of the pollen. The knowledge gained in this area would help the plant breeder in manipulating pollen pistil interaction even in incompatible pollination to get desired hybrids. You can easily study pollen germination by testing some pollen from the flowers such as pea, chickpea, Crotalaria, balsam and vinca on a glass slide containing a drop of the sugar solution about 10%. After about 15 to 30 minutes, observe the slide under the low power lens of the microscope. You are likely to see pollen tubes coming out of the pollen grains. So यहाँ पे ये एग्जाम्पल्स रिमेंबर कर सकते हैं आप. पी, चिकपी, क्रोटेलेरिया, balsam and vinca. These are the examples of flowers. A breeder is interested in crossing different species and often gender to combine desirable characters to produce commercially superior varieties. Artificial hybridization is one of the major approaches of crop improvement program. In such crossing experiments, it is important to make sure that only the desired pollen grain are used for pollination and the stigma is protected from contamination from unwanted pollen. This is achieved by emasculation and bugging techniques. If the female parent bears bisexual flowers, removal of anther from the flower bud before the anther dies, using a pair of the forceps is necessary. अगर फीमेल पैरेंट बाइसेक्सुअल फ्लावर प्रोड्यूस करता है तो पहले हमें एंटर को रिमूव करना ज़रूरी है. दिस प्रोसेस इज नोन एज इमेस्कुलेशन. दिस स्टेप इज रेफर्ड टू एज इमेस्कुलेशन. Emasculated flowers have to be covered with a bag of the suitable size, generally made up of butter paper, to prevent the contamination on the stigma with unwanted pollen. This process is called bagging. When the stigma of the bagged flower attains receptivity, mature pollen grains collected from the anther of the male parent are dusted on the stigma and the flowers are rebagged. रीबैग क्यों किया कि और pollen grains ना आके उस पर ग्रो कर जाए. And the fruits allowed to develop. If the female parent that produces unisexual flowers, there is no need for emasculation. The female flowers buds are bagged before the flowers open. When the stigma becomes receptive, pollination is carried out using the desired pollen and the flowers rebag. Talking about double fertilization. Double fertilization is a unique character of the angiosperms. After entering one of the synergids, the pollen tube releases the two male gametes into the cytoplasm of the synergid. One of the male gametes moves towards the egg cell and fuses with its nucleus, thus completing the syngamy. This results in the formation of a diploid cell, the zygote. The other male gamete moves towards the two polar nuclei located in the central cell and fuses with them to produce a diploid primary endosperm nucleus (PEN). As this involves the fusion of three haploid nuclei, it is termed as a triple fusion. Since two types of fusion, syngamy and triple fusion, takes place in the embryocyte, the phenomena is known as double fertilization, and event unique to the flowering plants. The central cell after triple fusion becomes the primary endosperm cell (PEC). PEN से PEC बन गया, primary endosperm nucleus से primary endosperm cell बन गया, and develops into the endosperm while the zygote develops into the embryo. So A figure shows the fertilized embryocyte showing zygote and primary endosperm nucleus. यहाँ पे जो है सिनर्जिड्स की हेल्प से जो ज़ाइगोट बनेगा, बिकॉज एक्स सेल से एक मेल गैमेट फ्यूज़ होगा और दूसरा मेल गैमेट पोलर न्यूक्लियस से फ्यूज़ होकर प्राइमरी एंडोस्पर्म न्यूक्लियस बना देगा. अब जो ये न्यूक्लियस जिस सेंट्रल सेल में प्रेजेंट था, सेंट्रल सेल को हमने प्राइमरी एंडोस्पर्म सेल बोल दिया, और जो ज़ाइगोट है वो फर्दर डेवलप होकर एम्ब्रियो बना देगा. So stages in embryo development in a dicot shown in reduced size as compared to A. So this is stages in embryo development in a dicot. सबसे पहले तो ज़ाइगोट बनता है, ज़ाइगोट से फिर एम्ब्रियो बनना शुरू होगा थ्रू द माइटोटिक डिविजन्स. तो डिवीज़न हुआ, 2 सेल स्टेज आई, उसके बाद एक सस्पेंसर बन जाएगा. फर्स्ट वी विल फॉर्म ज़ाइगोट के बाद ग्लोबुलर एम्ब्रियो बन जाएगा. ग्लोबुलर एम्ब्रियो First we will form pro-embryo, then globular embryo बन जाएगा. Globular embryo will convert into heart-shaped embryo, then we will get the mature embryo. So ग्लोबुलर एम्ब्रियो में क्या होता है, यहाँ पे ऐसे सेल्स डिवाइडेड होते हैं, सब में न्यूक्लियर प्रेजेंट होता है, एंड फर्दर इट डिवाइड्स, और वहाँ पे एक सस्पेंसर बन जाता है, और दिस स्ट्रक्चर इज हार्ट शेप. सो दिस एम्ब्रियो इज नोन एज हार्ट शेप एम्ब्रियो. इसे ग्लोबुलर इसलिए बोला क्योंकि ये ग्लोब्यूल की तरह दिख रहा है. सस्पेंसर सेल्स जनरेट हो जाते हैं, एंड रेडिकल एंड प्लूम्यूल एंड कॉटिलेडन्स आर सीन इन द मैच्योर फॉर्म ऑफ एम्ब्रियो. So plumule is responsible for the shoot growth and radicle is responsible for the root growth. Cotyledons जो है रिजर्व फूड